بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الشمس والقمر بحسبان.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. When is Ramadan 1443 AH? This is the question being asked again and again just before Ramadan moon is possible to be sighted within next few days or so. My name is Kamaruddin from ICOUK UK, and I will explain 2 points. First, I will explain when the hilal will become visible on the UK horizon and nearby region. And secondly, I will explain the calculated calendar which are widely used throughout the world for civil purposes and how that influences moon sighting declaration by some communities or countries. So I am going to use crescent visibility maps. They are predicted maps. Why they are predicted and how were they made? Well, many expert astronomers have observed the crescent moon for many years, and collecting a few hundreds of observation data, they were able to get parameters which indicate when the moon is possible to be sighted. And these visibility maps are consistent with Quran and Sunnah. For example, in Surah Yasin, Allah says, وَالْقَمَرَ قَدَّرْنَاهُ مَنَازِلَ حَتَّى عَادَ كَالْأُرْجُونِ الْقَدِيمِ. As for the moon, it traverses, it goes through phases until it becomes the withered part of a vegetable. So, according to tafsir, these ayat indicates that the moon goes through visible phases and invisible phases. So, according to our observation experience, the moon is visible for 27 days, meaning 27 nights, and it goes in hiding for 2.5 nights. So this hiding is called mahak, the invisible phase, and in between mahak, there is one line called a line of conjunction when the moon gets in between the earth and the sun in one plane. In Arabic, we call it waqtul iqtiran, or a time of pairing, and in English, it is called new moon conjunction. So that is the birth of the moon. It is a black dot in your diary, and it is the invisible moon. And it happens in the new moon phase of 2.5 days, or in the center point. So before the new moon conjunction, it is invisible, and after the new moon conjunction, it is invisible, and then the visibility takes place. So let's look at the visibility prediction for Ramadan Hilal 1443. Just look at the visibility maps on 1st of April 2022. So on the eastern date line, you can see there is a red area, and that indicates the moon is setting before the sun. So moon has gone below the horizon, so it's impossible to see it. But the birth of the moon takes place where you see the pink line on the near the international date line. That's the new moon conjunction line. And then you will see there is no visible curve. So that area is when the moon is too close to the sun that it does not reflect any light. Okay, so it is not possible to be seen, even though it may be setting slightly after the sunset or with the sunset, but it is not possible for human eye to detect the moon behind the glare of the sun. So looking at the data, if I look at the data from HM Nautical Almanac Office, the new moon conjunction line, the purple curve you will see on the map on the eastern date line, happens on 1st of April, 7:30 in the morning. And then on the western side, it may become visible after about 24 hours later. So the moon from the birth takes about a day before it becomes possible to be sighted. So in the UK, take London, for example, the sunset will be about 7:30 British Summer Time, and the moonset will be about 20 minutes after that. But at the time of sunset, moon altitude will be only 2 degrees on the horizon, just above the tree line. But the glare of the sun will be some 5 degrees above the horizon. And so it is within the glare of the sun, and it is not possible to be seen even with the most powerful telescope, because the sun glare hides any light being reflected of the moon. So the code is F, invisible, beyond danger limit. So on 1st April, it is not possible to be seen anywhere in the world. The least likelihood would be somewhere on the western date line, which is on my right shoulder there, and that is inhabited part of the world, so no one is there to observe it even with telescope. So we are expecting non-visibility by the human eye altogether on the 1st April. And for most people who are looking at visibility date, many countries will have 1st of April as 28 of Shaban, and some places may have it 29, but it is not going to be possible to be sighted, such as in Morocco or UK on the 1st of April, and therefore the month is likely to go on to the next day, either the 29th of some countries and 30th of other countries. So on the second day, 2nd April 2022, there is a possibility of sighting the earliest, and we expect most of the world to see it on the 2nd April, making 1st of Ramadan to be on Sunday, 3rd April 2022. Now let me explain the prediction of calculated calendar. Now, before I do that, I want to point out that in the UK, we are offering a competition to encourage people to go and look for the Ramadan moon on the 2nd April, when it is possible to be sighted. And if you report it on the ICOUK website, which is moonsighting.org.uk, within 1 hour of sunset, we will give you a small gift as a token of our appreciation for your good effort. So please do ensure you are registered on our website and send us a report, but you must register well before the day of sighting, so we can do the due diligence checks and ensure that we have your full identification. And on the day, 2nd April, we would have a ulama panel sitting after moonset times to take your testimony. So that is the competition for all UK residents. Now let me answer the question of calculated calendar. Now, there are some civil calendars, such as the Saudi Qura calendar. It is designed for civil purposes, and it is connected with the birth of the moon, the new moon conjunction. So as you can see on the eastern date line, on the purple line there, the birth has taken place. So the original calendar was connected with the birth of the moon and not visibility. That was the practice of the Jews of the Medina at the time of Rasulullah Sallallahu, and I have explained this in detail on our website called The Explanation of the Ummi Hadith. Okay, that's what they used to do. And they used to ask the Arabs that you don't know how to calculate, so how are you going to have a calendar? And when this news reached Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, we are an ummi ummat. We do not know how to read or calculate. Our month is hakada or hakada, 29 or 30 days. So by what? By ru'ya, by sighting. Yas'alunaka anil ahilla. So they ask you about the crescent moon. This is the story behind the Ummi Hadith. So tell them this is according to Ru'yat, and that is why the Hadith says, Sumu li ru'yatihi wa aftiru li ru'yatihi, that begin fasting by sighting the moon and fasting by sighting the moon. But the technology to calculate visibility of the moon was not available for many, many centuries, not until 1980s, when the computational power became available to calculate the visibility on every grid of the world map. So we were able to predict visibility calculation in the 90s and 2000, but before that it was not possible. But this civil calendar from the 70s, 1970s and 1980s were based on new moon conjunction, and therefore sometimes the bias is the weakness, and they used to claim sighting even before the moon was born, because moon would be born on the 30th, but witness came on the 29th, and sometimes the moon has set before the sun. So there was a conference in Mecca organized by Muslim World League in 2012, and they added another condition that moonset have to occur after sunset for us to accept any witness. So based on this criteria of conjunction taking place, moonset after sunset, then the month begins for civil purposes. And you can see this on this calendar behind me, that even though the moon is not possible to be sighted by the human eye, because conjunction has taken place and moonset is after sunset, that is after the red curve, the calendar is saying that the month will begin from Saturday, 2nd of April 2022. But this is not a visibility-based calendar. So if you are following this calculated calendar, you are connecting with the Jews of Medina at the time of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, according to their calculation. But if you want to connect with Ru'ya, according to sighting of the moon, then you need to consider the visibility maps, which is more closer to Sunnah. But as you can see, this visibility map is not perfect. It has grading, code A, code B, code C. You know, it's possible to be sighted if it's perfect condition, or if you have optical equipment. And in some cases, even with optical equipment, you cannot see. So this has grading according to factors beyond our control, like the weather or the atmosphere or the eyesight of the person or the direction they're looking at, many other factors. So these visibility maps tell you when it is most likely to be sighted, provided we are looking for it. That is why I urge you to go and look for the moon on both 1st and 2nd of April 2022. On the 1st, you would look for it to confirm it was not visible. That justifies completion of 30 days, those whose month starts a day earlier. And otherwise, definitely on the 2nd of April, the moon would be easily visible, provided the atmospheric conditions are good and you are looking in the right direction, inshallah ta'ala. And what should you do? As soon as you have sighted the moon, please report it onto ICOUK website, that is moonsighting.org.uk, within 1 hour of sunset, to claim a small prize as a token of our appreciation. So in summary, those who follow the ru'ya of sighting the moon with the human eye, first of Ramadan will be from 3rd April 2022. Those who go by the calculation linked to the Jews of the Medina, they would start from the 2nd April 2022. Jazakallah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.